Welcome to the Rick Helps Real Estate Show, where after a while, the little voice in your head says, "Why am I watching this?" Good morning. Happy Monday. Sorry I'm a little late. Had a little bit of a hiccup there. My live stream was actually showing up as unlisted, which means you couldn't see it. So I'm going to keep it here. If you saw part of it and it dropped off, I apologize. It's just that there's one technical snafu after another sometimes. And it's all because of the owner operator, which is me. Now I'm testing a new mic, so I won't know if this even sounds good until I end this stream and go back and replay it. So I've got some new numbers and some things to talk about today, and then I want to talk about inspections. We have 4,910 homes on the market today. We actually went up above 5,000 on Saturday for the first time in a long time. But it's those little numbers. You know, you go up by 100 and you go, whoopee. So it wasn't huge. We have 4,255 homes come on the market in the past 7 days, of which 4,086 went under contract. It's still insanely brisk out there. I saw one offer on in the 800,000 range this weekend. One price get bid up to over 900,000. Brutal. So it's just amazing what's going on out there. There are some things in the Cromford Index where they're starting to see some interesting things going on in the market, and I'm going to show you here. So what we have is the Cromford Market Index. It's a mathematical calculation. It tells you the health of the market and helps you see things coming when other people can't. So right now, if you're not looking at any numbers and you're a realtor out there or you're a buyer, you're not feeling any relief. It's just going to get worse and worse. But then you start seeing some trend lines that tell you, oh, things are starting to change. It takes a long time, but we hit a peak at May 11th on the Cromford Market Index of 510, and now it's starting to come down like it did in 2005. Now, 2005, it dropped like a rock because the supply went flying up. See that? The supply went up because people just started overbuilding like crazy. And then when that happened, demand dropped at the same time. There were all these bad loans out there. You know the story. I've repeated it often. But what's happening now is our supply is just barely starting to move up down here. Barely. Like I said, Saturday we had 100 more. Well, our demand is dropping. That's an encouraging sign, but it's also a frustrating sign. There's some affordability. Buyers are just frustrated. I'm just not going to play in this sandbox anymore. I'm going to sit it out. And rent continues to go up, up, up. So these are starting to converge, and it's going to take time. And the best way that I had this described that they wrote on the Cromford report is talking about a shop owner, and he had 5 candy bars, and 50 people came in and bought all those candy bars. And he said, man, the demand is crazy for these candy bars. Well, the problem was he should have ordered 100 candy bars. So he orders 6 more and he marks them up by 50%. And then 30 people come in, buy all his candy bars. So he's still convinced that people just have this insatiable demand for candy bars. But it's a supply issue. Real estate's the same thing right now. It's all supply. So of all the numbers that we track, that's the one that we look at every day here on this channel so that we know, so we can see if there's any trend changes coming down the road. Right now we're seeing it, but it's so subtle and it's so small that it's going to take time. Now, one of the things about mathematics is you can come to some conclusions, but it's still hard to predict. You know, there's a lot of things that can happen down the road, but it's safely saying that in 2021, we don't stand any chance of prices leveling off. In fact, they're going to continue to go up, up, and up. Now, because of this, people are writing very creative offers. They're waiving the appraisals, saying, I'm going to offer you 450, even though you're asking 400. If the appraisal comes in at 400, I'm going to cover the 50,000 at the closing table. And they're shortening the inspection period. And at the end of the inspection period, they're making their earnest money non-refundable, which is a way of saying, I'm so confident in my financing that I'm just going to make the earnest money non-refundable right after I inspect the house. Some people are waiving inspections. Some people are shortening the inspection period from the standard in the contract of 10 days to 3 to 5. Now, you can only do that if you schedule your inspection early, and these guys are usually booked about 5 days out at a minimum, what they're doing is they're writing an offer either Friday or Saturday and sending it in, and then they're scheduling the inspection for Monday. And they're putting in a contract, 3-day inspection period. And then lo and behold, on Sunday, their offer wasn't accepted. What do? They get in, they cancel the inspection. So Sunday night, the inspector who put you on the calendar for Monday morning now doesn't have a job. He doesn't have a task. He can't fill that empty slot. So whatever fee that inspector was getting then, he's not able to fill it. Now, if you were in a small town, you only had 2 or 3 inspectors, you wouldn't get away with this. But in a large town like Phoenix, you can, because there's a lot of inspectors. But if this trend continues, what you're going to do, agents, is you're going to force inspectors to ask for deposits and cancellation fees. But there's even a problem with the cancellation fees. Right now, inspectors have a hard time getting and collecting their reinspection fee. My example is the home we had in Chandler that we had to finally walk away from. We went out to inspect it. When you go into contract with the home, the agent lets the seller know, okay, there's going to be inspectors coming out. Make sure all the utilities are on. That step didn't happen with this house. We got out there and the inspector says, the water's turned off. Well, why would anybody turn off the water on the house? Did he not pay his bill? What's going on? So we get a hold of him and said, we got to go back out. There's going to be a $150 reinspection fee. And he threw a fit. I'm not going to pay that. And nobody told me there was going to be an inspection. Really? I owned 7 houses. So we went out. The water was turned on. As soon as the inspector turned it on at street level, he goes inside the house. He hears water just gushing upstairs in the bathroom. Oh, that's why the water was turned on. So he has to turn the main off again. He can't finish the inspection. He still wouldn't pay the $150 inspection fee, so I did. I wrote him a check for it because I don't want my inspectors to get burned. We need those partners. We need inspectors. You need to have several of them. So you don't want to have that reputation that if you're scheduling, if I'm that inspector and I've canceled you on 3 Sundays in a row, and you send in a request on the calendar, I'm not taking it. So be careful out there. We need partners in this industry and we don't want to burn them. And, sometimes we just get very frustrated as agents, driving around and showing people homes. And next thing you know, they go into a new build without you and they buy that and you've not made a dime. It happens. But we have control over how we treat our vendors. And so be good to your inspectors. We need them. The industry needs them. So this week, it's going to be interesting to see how Tuesday we always have lower numbers. I've even had clients say, I'm getting a feeling that things are starting to slow down a little bit and that more listings are coming up because they're getting on and they're seeing more listings coming on and on. And what I said was there are more listings coming up, but they're still being gobbled up. So if you're on a list where you're getting updated listings on a daily basis, you will see that where you were probably getting 2, now you're getting 6. But just like the candy bar analogy, we still have people coming in and buying them. So listings are coming on more and more, but you got to be quick and you got to know what your top end is. Like I've said before, it's very rare that anybody counters on an offer. They just look at the top offers. They maybe take the top 2. They might give you a call. They might not. They end up running spreadsheets to analyzing all the different offers. You don't expect to counter. So if you see a house that's 400, sit down and figure out with your math what your absolute highest price is going to be and shoot for the moon. Because if you think you're going to go 425 and then they're going to counter back at 440, they're not. They're just not. Don't expect it. It's not going to happen. Those days are gone right now. Hopefully they'll come back. But right now, that's not happening. So I want to look and see what happens in numbers tomorrow. We're at 4910. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we usually dip down by 300 or 400. And then we start coming back up on Thursday. Thursday's usually the build-up. And then Friday is the peak, except for this last Saturday, we ended up peaking. And I don't know how that happened, but I'll take it. So we need more and more inventory. We got to just keep this going. And give us some relief out there, folks. Hey, and if you are in another state and you need any referrals, EXP has 40,000 agents. So just let me know. If you need to find an agent in another state, I'd be glad to help you out. In the meantime, everybody take on the day. Have a fabulous Monday.